Back to tonight's top story, the unprecedented raid of a former president's private residence as the FBI executes a search warrant on the home and private office of former President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Let's bring back John Iannarelli, and Mike Davis for further debate now. All right, Mike, I want to start with you on this. Congressman Ted Lieu, he's a Democrat. He's responding to former President Trump's statement on this. He says Trump shows a profound ignorance of the law. Democrats did not break into his home. This is not prosecutorial misconduct because prosecutors don't approve warrants. This search occurred because a federal judge found probable cause that evidence of a crime would be at Mar-a-Lago. Your response?
Well, that's unclear. We haven't seen the warrant. We don't know the predicate law they're basing this warrant off of, and just because a judge approved a warrant from a prosecutor doesn't mean that that President Trump committed a crime. It would actually be extraordinary if President Trump committed a crime by taking 15 boxes when he left the White House, because as President of the United States, as we discussed earlier, he has the constitutional authority to declassify anything he wants, and so it's unclear what the crime would even be here.
Okay, yes, seeing the affidavit and warrant would be hugely helpful, or a presser from the AG, or even a press release or statement would help us. In the meantime, Buck Sexton, well known to our audience, has this tweet tonight: no special counsel for Hunter's cocaine, hookers, tax evasion, and selling of his dad's office to China. All allegations. But FBI raids former President Trump's home looking for random documents seems legit. John Iannarelli, can you understand how a lot of folks are going to view it that way?
Absolutely. When you look at the juxtaposition, there's been a lot of allegations involving Hunter, many of which can be national security issues because of his proximity to the White House, certainly with his father, and yet we're seeing absolutely nothing. And yet that case began around the same time period that the allegations of this case today began, yet radio silence. Certainly something has to be done.
Okay, The Hill had an opinion piece yesterday. This is interesting because it came before the raid or anything that we knew about this raid was going to happen. An opinion piece by Heath Naughton. He says, Merrick Garland's complicated Trump prosecution calculus. He says this: any prosecution is going to be a circus in which any slip up by Garland or his team would be disastrous. Garland also needs to get Trump on a felony. A misdemeanor or civil penalty would be viewed as a weak, anticlimactic result. Republicans would celebrate and ridicule Garland, while Democrats would rage at him. With that all in mind, John Yoo, what is the Attorney General thinking tonight?
Well, this is what I was talking about before, about how dangerous it is to break the precedent that involves investigating former chief executive, going into his house and launching a surprise raid. You would only do that if the crime at stake was so important that it demanded those kinds of extreme measures. Think about past presidents. The FBI didn't bust into the White House to get the Watergate tapes. President Nixon's lawyers turned them over. The FBI didn't bust into the White House to get the navy blue dress from Bill Clinton. They handed that over. This is such an astounding step that it should only be done for something truly important. This is something we call prosecutorial discretion. This is a Justice Department that's not prosecuting thousands and thousands of immigration cases because they don't think it's worth the resources. Is this really the right time for the Attorney General to say we are going to send the FBI in on surprise search warrants, the kind we use for mafia leaders and drug dealers, for something about taking away the wrong documents? No, you would only do it, I think, if you thought that the president was criminally responsible for January 6th and you had probable cause that you could prove it. And I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen that in the hearings, and I doubt the Justice Department has it yet.
So, Mike, we talked about this, the political implications of this, and a lot of folks saying tonight, if this does not go by the book for the FBI, results in some serious charges and conviction, it risks making President Trump look like the martyr in this situation. What do you think about the political calculus?
Well, it's going to backfire on President Biden. Obviously, the Biden Justice Department, Attorney General Merrick Garland, they're going after President Biden's likely presidential rival in 2024. This is not going to bode well for them. This is the same Biden Justice Department that has eviscerated 250 years of constitutional executive privilege to go after the White House Chief of Staff, the White House Senior Advisor, a White House trade director, even the White House counsel. The Biden Justice Department, Attorney General Merrick Garland, is out of control. And when Republicans take over the House in January and likely take over the Senate, there needs to be accountability.
All right, John Iannarelli, final word to you on this, the process of how this works its way into this raid we saw today.
Well, now they've seized all these boxes. Agents are going to meticulously go through everything, and they're going to look for whatever evidence it is that they were trying to discover. We're going to hear from the Justice Department at some point if they came up with anything at all. If there's silence, that means it was a dud.
All right, John, and Mike, thank you for the double duty tonight. We appreciate it.